Developed by Saber Interactive, the studio behind MudRunner and SnowRunner, their latest installment, RoadCraft, switches gears from off-roading to rebuilding. It blends realistic driving with hands-on construction management, giving you a whole new kind of challenge. This video has been sponsored by Focus Entertainment. The views expressed are entirely my own regarding the game. RoadCraft is out now, and you can check the game out by clicking the link in the description below. In RoadCraft, players run a construction company focusing on reviving regions that have been affected by natural disasters. You will be tasked with cleaning debris, restoring infrastructure, and constructing roads and bridges to help the local economies recover. There are mainly 3 biomes: desert, forest and mountain, and highlands, and a total of 8 maps constituting 28 square kilometers to explore. There are 40+ unique and highly detailed vehicles available for these missions. These range from scout vehicles to off-road trucks to bulldozers to gantry cranes. The game features advanced physics simulation, allowing for realistic deformation when interacting with mud, sand, and more. This is a standalone game and not a successor to SnowRunner, but I may compare both of them so that you guys have an idea of what to expect. Visually, the game looks phenomenal. Every vehicle is packed with detail, inside and out. The way mud and water interact with vehicles as you drive through them, the raindrops sliding across the windshield, the asphalt steaming up right after it has been paved, the track imprints left by vehicles on the soft mud and sand. It's these little details everywhere that make the game look stunning. The physics in the game are impressive. While it's not strictly an off-road simulator, driving feels satisfying. The terrain deformation as you drive over it, the movement of water when you unload sand over it, it's the best I've seen in any game. Vehicles, especially Scouts, feel much more realistic compared to SnowRunner. The suspension works well and it's not stiff to the point you bounce off the road. It's a more predictable handling system. The weight of various objects has been addressed in this game, and I especially like how the crane and its wires move around. It all feels convincing. From a technical standpoint, RoadCraft might be one of the most impressive titles in its genre. At the start of the game, we create our company by choosing a name, color scheme, logo, and a scout vehicle to begin with. In the early stages, we focus on clearing debris, repairing damaged pipes, and performing other recovery efforts to restore key infrastructure. Once the basics are completed and the plant is functional, the gameplay shifts towards managing the company and its logistics. This involves planning delivery routes and ensuring supplies reach their destinations without interruption. Supply vehicles aren't built for off-road conditions and they struggle with obstacles, so it's best not to block their path. Before sending them out, we may need to clear debris and construct roads if necessary. Constructing roads involves dumping sand with a dump truck, leveling it with a bulldozer, paving it with asphalt, and finishing it using a road roller. Players can take on each task manually or assign appropriate vehicles to handle the jobs automatically. Paths can be cleared by cutting down trees, removing tree stumps, and the resulting logs can be reused to build bridges. We can even move boulders now, and they'll stay where you left them. I know this is something we've all been waiting for. In RoadCraft, we'll be guided by Kelly, the dispatcher at our company. She communicates from headquarters, providing mission briefings and keeping us informed about our next objectives. This makes it easy to understand the game, which I think will attract a lot of new players as well.
I have a whole menu of things for you to do. 1, connect the tunnel exit base to the steel pipes facility. 2, make some room at the port so we can get your gear shipped over. 3, replace the gas tank at the concrete plant. You can find the replacement at the gas station. They have plenty, so they won't miss it.
The objectives are introduced one by one at first, and I like this linear approach. Not once was I overwhelmed with the tasks. The gameplay offers a strong sense of progression and doesn't feel overly repetitive, at least from what I've played so far. The map design is beautiful, with some environments even changing as you complete certain tasks. And as you progress through it, you unlock more parts of it. Once you complete the main objectives in a region, you'll be able to move to the next map. The game features a level of progression system. Completing objectives and tasks allows you to level up, which in turn unlocks new vehicles for purchase. One small but immersive detail I appreciate is how the straps dynamically adjust when securing cargo. I absolutely love this feature. You can even overload a vehicle and it will still secure everything properly. The ambient sounds are fantastic, especially subtle touches like the sound of rain inside the cab enhancing the immersive experience. That said, the vehicle sound design could use some work. I wasn't impressed with the sounds when changing to the next gear. It sounded like it's looping. The community appears to be divided on this game. While some players appreciate the new features, others are disappointed by the absence of gameplay elements like vehicle customization, damage system, fuel management, manual transmission, and day-night cycle. Unlike SnowRunner, where vehicles could be customized and used for various missions, vehicles in RoadCraft seem to be more specialized and tailored to specific tasks, with no customization options. I didn't seem to miss the damage system either. However, I would have liked to see fuel management and day-night cycle included. The developers have confirmed that both manual gearboxes and vehicle damage systems are not part of the game's design, as their focus is on construction and logistics rather than detailed driving mechanics. Though interestingly, I still found myself behind the wheel most of the time. It's important to recognize that RoadCraft is not a sequel to SnowRunner, it's its own thing. These missing features only feel like drawbacks when viewed from SnowRunner's perspective. Judged on its own merits, RoadCraft holds up well. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if a SnowRunner 2 eventually comes out, incorporating many of these features along with gameplay elements from RoadCraft. Fuel in the game functions as a recovery token. While recovering to the garage is free, players also have the option to recover to a field service vehicle located anywhere on the map, at the cost of fuel. Fuel can be earned by completing objectives or be purchased at supply depots using the in-game currency. I quite like this mechanic. This system offers an easier way to reposition multiple vehicles for specific objectives, something that would otherwise take a long time, especially for solo players. RoadCraft supports multiplayer co-op for up to 4 players across all platforms. One of the standout features is the shared progression system. Unlike SnowRunner, where only the host's progress would save, now everyone's game state syncs up. This means no more replaying the same objectives over and over. Everyone moves forward together. It's a game changer for co-op play and a huge relief for players who've been frustrated by the old system. But the game is not without its rough edges. I found myself not using my wheel setup as much as I did in SnowRunner. While the wheel gameplay itself was good, controlling the camera with a mouse felt too bumpy and twitchy. The game is best played with a joystick controller at the moment. I wasn't a fan of how the sand collection works in the game. As long as you're within the boundaries of a quarry, you can simply press a button and sand gets loaded out of thin air. I understand the developers may have implemented this to streamline the gameplay, but it breaks immersion and makes the experience feel a bit incomplete. I had some issues with my PC where it would crash during gameplay, and unfortunately, leading to losing my saved game files. Since then, I've started backing up my saves regularly. I've had similar problems with SnowRunner in the past as well. I hope the developers implement some kind of incremental auto-save system so that even if the main files get corrupted, we can recover progress from earlier backups. I wish the game was a bit better optimized. Even with my NVIDIA 3080 Ti, I was just managing 60 FPS at 4K even with DLSS enabled. Running it at native 4K dropped the frame rate to closer to 30 FPS. At least with DLSS on, the game still looked fantastic. The controls for each crane, including the vehicle-mounted ones, are all quite different. It takes time to learn each setup, which can be a bit of a learning curve. It's a challenge at first, but once you get the hang of it, operating them becomes a rewarding part of the gameplay. Overall, RoadCraft offers a refreshing take on off-roading games, incorporating terrain alteration that changes the gameplay in many ways. It's a game that's impressed me with its attention to detail. The game is quite approachable for new players. It's not as unforgiving as the runner games, and does a solid job of introducing its mechanics. And if you have friends, co-ops adds a whole new layer of fun. I honestly didn't expect much going in, but RoadCraft ended up being a pleasant surprise. Whether you're a fan of the runner series or just looking for something different in the genre, RoadCraft is well worth checking out.